You've just started your business and heard you might need workers' compensation insurance. Or perhaps you already have it, but you're not really sure how workers' compensation works. Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Workers' Compensation 101. In California, every employer is required to carry workers' compensation insurance. Established in 1914 by the state legislature, State Fund is completely self-supporting and ensures that all employers have a strong and stable option for their workers' compensation needs. What is workers' compensation? Workers' compensation is a no-fault system which provides benefits to employees when their injury or illness arises out of or occurs in the course of their work. In exchange for the no-fault system, employees give up their right to sue their employer directly for negligence. There are many workers' compensation carriers to choose from in California. State Fund is one of them, and we ensure our policyholders get maximum value for their workers' compensation dollar through customized loss prevention services, medical cost management, and anti-fraud efforts. In addition, we provide fast, reliable claim services for injured workers. State Fund's core business is to provide claim services. But there are many departments that help support our ability to provide claims or policy services to our clients. So how does it all work? Let's use State Fund's business as an example. We'll begin with how employers obtain workers' compensation insurance. Meet Joe. He's a small business owner. He's in the market for workers' compensation insurance. Joe hears about the great services offered by State Fund and wants to get a quote. There are two ways for Joe to apply for workers' compensation insurance from State Fund. He can select an intermediary firm called a broker to represent him in managing his insurance coverage, or he can work directly with State Fund to manage his insurance coverage. Either way, he or his broker can submit a request to State Fund online or by fax or mail. Once Joe submits his request, the underwriter performs an evaluation of the quote request. A quote is calculated and sent back to Joe or his broker. If Joe accepts the quote, it is signed in a binding agreement, which means that Joe is insured. Of course, he still has to pay his premium. Now that we've gone over the process of getting a quote, let's take a look at what factors are considered when providing a quote for insurance and how premium is determined. The Workers' Compensation Insurance Rating Bureau, or WCIRB, is a separate entity that develops advisory pure premium rates for workers' comp insurance. State Fund uses these pure premium rates, as well as other factors such as the industry the employer is in, the number of employees, job types, payroll, and risk, to determine the base premium. However, that's not the final number. State Fund also has rating modifiers, which can increase or decrease the estimated premium. Some of these include a premium discount for premiums above a certain threshold, scheduled rating, which rewards companies for their efforts in loss control and safety, experience modification, which looks at the number of losses over a certain amount of time, and tiered pricing, which adjusts premium based on the policyholder's overall risk profile. After applying the rating modifiers to the base premium, we are left with the total estimated annual premium, which is what Joe, the employer, can expect to pay for his coverage in the coming year. Joe pays his initial deposit for his coverage, and he's insured. Not only is Joe covered in case any of his employees are injured, but he now has access to State Fund's comprehensive loss prevention services. Our extensive workplace safety training programs are designed to prevent injuries. Our safety and health services are offered at no extra charge to policyholders and include education programs, materials, and inspections. But what happens if one of Joe's employees gets injured? Let's take a look. Meet Sally. Sally works for Joe and injures her knee. She's in pain and needs medical attention. Joe is responsible for reporting the injury to State Fund. He can file the claim through State Fund online, call our toll-free customer service center, or fax a claim in. Once State Fund receives the claim, the adjuster needs to determine if the injury is eligible for workers' compensation. That is, did the injury arise out of employment or during the course of employment? We refer to this as AOE-COE. Most claims are easily verified by the employer, and we can accept the claim right away. However, AOE-COE rules can sometimes be complex. Here's an example. If Sally got into a car accident on her daily commute to or from home to work, she is not eligible for workers' comp. This is called the coming-going rule. However, if Joe asked her to drop off packages at the post office on her way home and she got into a fender bender, then she would be eligible for workers' comp, since the injury occurred during the course of her employment. Let's just say there's a lot to consider when determining liability for a claim. If the claim is accepted, Sally is entitled to medical treatment and is eligible for indemnity benefits if she is unable to work due to her injury. The adjuster will monitor the case, manage medical treatment, pay any benefits which are due, and work with the doctor, employer, and the injured worker to put a return-to-work plan together. Eventually, Sally will reach maximum medical improvement, or MMI, which basically means that her condition has plateaued. At this point, we determine if she has any permanent disability from her injury and try to settle her claim. When all benefits have been paid, the claim will be closed. Woo! So that's workers' comp in a nutshell. Don't worry, we don't expect you to remember everything. Basically, what you need to know is that State Fund's purpose is to provide fairly priced workers' compensation insurance, make workplaces safe, and restore injured workers. We protect the people that make California work. As an employer, you want to do everything in your power to protect your business and your employees. State Fund is one of many options you have to do that. As you're looking at options for workers' compensation, just remember that not everyone operates the same as State Fund, so make sure to ask questions about how they are different. Thanks for watching, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions.